Hey y'all, what's going on in your garden? Well, for me, in my Oklahoma 7B garden, August is all about weeding and watering, just the routines of your garden, and trying to have a little fun if you can. So this week we are in Zone 4, which is some of our outlying areas, including the Goose Play Park. And the reason we call it the Goose Play Park is the geese like to hang out here. You'll look out and they'll be on the slide or up on the roof of the slide or just wandering around. And also that first spring that we were here, this shed right here is where we keep our smaller lawn tractor-y lawnmower. It's a Scott's brand, so its name is Angus, so hence North Angus Abbey. So anyhow, Gus and Gertie had babies up on the roof of North Angus Abbey that first spring, and they were adorable. And I just happened to be here when Gertie was getting them off the roof and taking them out to the neighbor's pond. It was one of the most adorable things I have ever seen. I'll try and find some footage and add it here, or if not, I might just put that in a short and an Instagram reel on Pemberley, Oklahoma. So anyhow, Goose Play Park, they come back and visit quite often. Sometimes you will look out and they'll be up on the roof, just kind of like looking around like the old, oh, this is where we used to live. So this is one of my areas that's not particularly glamorous. It's just pulling weeds, but we try to keep up on it because you know, weeding and watering, not the most fun part of your gardening life, but it is important. It keeps things going, much like taking care of your house, doing the laundry, washing the dishes, making your bed. It makes, your house run smoothly. Same thing in the summer garden, just weeding and watering. It's uh, it's not the most fun thing, but it pays off in the long run, especially when the weather finally breaks and things cool down. So also this week, because we had a break in the 100-degree weather, himself and I got out and did a bunch of mowing and weed eating on a Saturday morning. It was lovely. And because of that, we had time on Sunday to get out and do a little garden tour. So let me show you that. Oh, lovely, lovely morning. This magnolia's doing pretty good. It's got some new growth down in there. We're keeping it watered. So you might notice the tulip tree looks a little different these days. Here, probably a month or so ago, it looked like a deer had just ran full force into it and broke it. It wasn't chewed on, it just looked like something ran into it and broke it. So we've kept it watered, but it's coming back. So you can see we had to trim. I do need to get out here and pull those weeds around there. So yeah, coming back. Not as big. It's gonna be a little bushier for a while. But hey, at least it's there. And you can see the grass is starting to die back. This is kind of one of the spots it first does. Um, but yeah, I'd meant to come out just a little bit earlier, but we were puttering on the patio and chatting with himself and morning tea and coffee and how you should spend a Sunday morning. So the pond still full, fairly full. It's never very clear, but there you go. So yeah, I do need to come down and weed eat around my umbrellas and things. The blue The blue water leaf is still bluing. We are starting to get some beach. We're getting some beach. So himself was out here mowing all of this, and it still looks pretty good because there's some weeping springs out in here. So it takes a little bit for it to dry up. So it's still fairly good. Pocket prairies. Let's go see what's in the pocket prairies. Lots and lots of yellow. We love us some yellow in the pocket prairies. Lots and lots of yellow. So there's some trees coming up out there in the middle, which is why and we've got lots and lots of seed heads for next year. So, as I've said before, in the fall, when we have a freeze and things die back, himself will come out here and he will mow everything, mow it down. And part of the reason you do that is to keep the trees out, because we don't need any scraggly whatever those trees are in our pocket prairies. This one's looking particularly nice, very tall, lots of yellow. Is that ragweed out there? That might be some ragweed out there. Is that ragweed? No, I don't know what that is. We'll have to wait and see what it is. So all in all, it's looking pretty good. But it won't last. August is traditionally when the grass dies back, and you usually have some time, a few weeks where you don't have to mow that much. Sometimes the mow, it's just a matter of weed eating the scraggly things that come up here and there around things, because for some reasons weeds keep growing. So you can see the pond, and over there is the creek. So let's walk to the pond, back to the pond and around the other side and look at the blue water leaf. Himself and I were remarking last night as we rode around on the golf cart just how big the willows have gotten just in the 3 years we've been here. Oh, and I love these button bushes. But look at that. Look at all that blue. Oh, and the bees love it. This is one of my favorite things that blooms, the wildflowers that bloom here. But yeah, he mowed all the way up to here with the big mower. Back in the day when he first started mowing all this was so mucky. He got stuck a few times, and he had to use the smaller tractor lawnmower. But as he's continued to mow, the Bermuda has taken over and gotten, I think that's Bermuda, has taken over and gotten more and more grass, which is quite lovely. And this is where the water runs into the pond from the neighbor's pond. And often that's where you'll see the ducks come in. Look at this willow. It's gotten like 3 times, 4 times bigger than it was when we moved in. And we've even had some broken bits that they've cut out. And that one's like leaning. That might be, is that broken? Yeah, I think there's some more in there. There's a giant frog in there, water frog. Lots of frogs in the pond. You can see them. Mostly you hear them just jumping in. So yeah, this willow is huge, and they're not overly sturdy trees, so you do get some breakage from time to time. But yeah, it's looking good. And the pond is drying up a little bit, because suddenly we have beach. We have beach here and beach over there. Yeah. So yeah, you can see the pond is it's drying up a little bit. Which for August, this is really good. It's still got plenty of water in it. But yeah, we've got beach. We've got beach. Maybe put some sand there and and make it a whole thing. Never gonna swim in that pond. Critters. Nope. 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 So here we are at Daffodil Creek. It looks a lot different than it does in the spring, but spring will come again and the daffies will bloom. So all in all, yeah, things are looking fairly good for August. Here are the geesies. And so that's one thing that's really important this time of year is to watch your weather. And when we have these long periods of 100-degree temperatures, if you happen to have a day that's only going to be 90, you need to take advantage of it. And on that particular day, it was cool in the morning, so it wasn't particularly hard to be out working. And it took all day. It was late in the afternoon. It was afternoon before it got up to 90 degrees. And then the following morning, it was Sunday morning. It was so cool and nice just to come out and putter in the garden and do a little gardening tour. And so, yeah, just make sure you're paying attention to the weather. If you see a day that looks like it might be not quite so miserable, take advantage of it. So let me show you what else has been going on in this zone in the garden. So I came out this morning and literally spent 5 minutes weeding this. This was a space that was one of the last things that we took back with the great 2024 weeding because it was just filled with grass and whatnot. But because I've stayed on top of it, it's pretty easy to do. If I walk by and I see a weed, I pull it, but I keep up with it because I don't want this to ever get away from me again because it took a lot of work to get all the weeds out of here the first time. So yeah, I spy one I missed. I spy one I missed. So I just walk in here, pull the weeds, and there are a couple other spots that have this gravel here. And some people would spray it, but I just prefer to weed it and get the weeds out of there. Now there's one other spot in this area that I wanted to, in this quadrant of the garden that I wanted to share. So, and it's right over there. So let's go take a look. So I've never filmed in this bed, so and at this angle, so it might be a bit dark, but because it's a shady spot. So this particular bed was already here when we moved in. It has these beautiful trees, and I'm assuming they built the wall as a retaining wall because when we get a heavy rain, which it would be lovely if we got a heavy rain, the water comes down and runs along the side over here, and the dry creek bed is over there. So water comes down through here. So I'm assuming that they put this in for erosion. And it's sat empty for quite some time. and there wasn't anything I really didn't really have a plan. I think I tried a hosta in here once and it immediately got eaten. Uh, so this, when we redid the fountain, we had we had three big rocks left. And so we've added them in here, which I think it really gives it some character. And then I was like, well, I should plant something in here. So I just got a couple flats of just classic red begonias that I picked up at one of the Amish um, nurseries, and I just put those in here, and they're doing quite well. I'm looking at them. They do need watered right now, though. So yeah, it's turned out well. It's given a little something to this bed. It doesn't really need any weeding. The only thing is there is one like viney weed over here that I am not going to pull because every time I try and pull it, I break it off. So I'm gonna get a tool and dig it out, or have himself help me dig it out. So perhaps we can get it for once and for all. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. So I meant to share this last week when I was back here in the back border working, and you probably saw it on the video, but I forgot to mention it. How much I am really appreciating the old people weeder. Now, I was inspired to buy one of these from my friend Anna, who is a romance writer and also a gardener in Nova Scotia. And so her Instagram and her Substack are both wonderful. So go check out Weekend Writer Steeps, as in Steeps Tea. She has this lovely mug collection. I just love to see what mugs she's got for her Saturday Instagram. So anyhow, Anna mentioned that she had used one of these at her parents' house, and that when her back was giving her a twinge or two, that she decided to get one for her house. And so I was like, oh, I could use that. So it's really helpful. I mean, it's nice. You can, sit here and take a break, have a sip of water, have a rest when you're out gardening. The most useful way to use it is, it has a pocket, so I can keep my phone, extra GoPro tools. But the best way to use it, for me anyway, is you flip it up, put your pocket back on, and these have been around forever. So you can get down and you can weed and you can save your knees. So this has been really helpful in the garden. And yeah, just anything you can do to make your gardening life easier, I am all for that. Can I make it? Can I make it? Oh, woo! I hope you've enjoyed this chapter of Pemberley, Oklahoma, seeing some of the various areas around the garden. We'll be back next week with the final edition of our slow summer morning gardening series, and which we will be at the seating areas, patios, porches, that sort of thing. So happy Flower Friday, and I will see you next week.